Philippines is a beautiful tropical place in which many people go to its most attractive tourist spots. From the beaches to the city, there are many vacation activities to do, ranging from ziplining, tours, shopping, and many more, whether it's with family or on your own. It is home to 106,200,000 people, with many living in its most populous city, Manila. Although the Philippines is a wonderful place,
it is also home to many of the worst and fatal diseases. These diseases are only prominent due to the substantial lack of clean water and sanitation. Most of these problems are often in the provinces, but it is also present in Manila, the capital of the Philippines. There are also very few regulations for littering, in which it has resulted in excessive amounts of trash in too many places.
Many people in the Philippines cannot afford toilets, so instead they get rid of their waste by throwing them out in plastic bags. These plastic bags filled with waste add on to the country's issue on sanitation. The country's National Sewage and Septage Movement program says around 55 people out of nearly 100 million die every day because more than 90% of the country's sewage is not collected or treated properly. Only 10% of the country's population has access to piped sewage systems. They also said that most people who do have toilets do not have septic tanks or have an open bottom. Over 30 million people in the Philippines do not have access to improved sanitation facilities, says Katrina Ariane Abora, who works on UNICEF's Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene program in the Philippines. That means almost 1/3 of the Philippines' population is without proper sanitation. This results in diseases, and these diseases spread through interaction between the people and the environment.
Each day, nearly 1,000 children die due to sanitation-related diarrheal diseases. One of those children was the son of Suzette Flores, who was to suffer without her only child. In September of 2015, Rob Ezekiel Garcia died of bacterial meningitis, which he contracted due to coming in contact with fecal matter in his environment. That day, the 19-month-old son vomited 5 times in one day, and when he had developed a fever, Suzette had rushed into the hospital. However, Rob Ezekiel Garcia only had seizures for 5 hours until he passed away.
35,000 tons of city solid waste are generated by the Philippines daily, and more than 8,600 tons per day in Metro Manila. Meanwhile, an existing law, the 1999 Clean Air Act, prohibited incineration for city waste disposal. Copper burning through its fumes, dust, or even mist can harm one's health. The chronic exposure can damage the liver and kidneys. The escaping methane is 34 more times harmful to the environment than carbon dioxide. The 2000s law, it can be recalled, solely prescribed engineered sanitary landfills as the acceptable method of final waste disposal. The Philippines' air quality is already heavily polluted. When all open dump sites should have been closed as mandated by the law, 790 were still operating. In 1999, a trash mountain held 2 million tons of trash, and in 2000, an enormous pile of garbage collapsed, killing over 200 people and injuring hundreds more.
The sanitary issues are also affecting fresh water sources in the Philippines majorly. It affects it to the point that 19 million Filipinos lack access to clean water and sanitation. Not only that, but 9 million of those Filipinos rely on unimproved, unsustainable, and unsafe water sources. The other 10 million, unfortunately, suffer dire consequences. Not only that, but diseases get spread even more due to the Philippines' weather and climate.
So our main focus was, what are clean water and sanitation problems in the Philippines? What can we do to solve them, and how can we maintain those solutions? With sanitary services, since many people cannot afford toilets, and those with toilets cannot afford septic tanks, to filter the bad water, providing community toilets with a certain range will allow people to save money and also prevent more trash buildup. These community toilets will also have their own big septic tank to filter the water to be reused. People will no longer have to get rid of their waste via plastic bags and can just use their local community toilets. However, the people will have to be educated on what to flush and what is not allowed to be flushed. Providing these toilets will allow better sanitary services to the people.
India, on November 2016, had their own opening ceremony of community toilets at Kampadi Pada Term. They've set up their own community toilets to provide the people with their own sanitary services. If India can do it, so can the Philippines. The Philippines does not have a strict regulatory on littering like the United States and many other countries do. If we were to create regulations for trash and recycling, the people will be less likely to throw away their trash just anywhere. Providing specific areas for trash like landfills will allow places to become cleaner and more sanitary for the public. Providing engineered sanitary landfills was prescribed by the 2000 law, but none have been started. Providing these landfills will limit the overtime buildup of trash and sanitary problems.
A great solution to resolve the water crisis in the Philippines is to make community basins so that whenever it rains, it'll catch a huge amount of the water. Over time, even if not needed, the amount of water will build up due to the Philippines' weather and climate. The people can come to these community basins to get the water and then boil the water. Boiling the water works as a filtering method that some people in the Philippines are already using. There are also many programs that have started promoting better sanitation of their water. One of those programs includes Water Philippines, and it is the Philippines' leading international water supply, sanitation, industrial wastewater treatment, and purification event. They want to promote the positive development of a water system and have an exhibit to reach out to global markets in the water industry. By promoting and investing in this event and other programs, we will be able to provide the support they need to extend their efforts in resolving the Philippines' clean water problems.
Solutions can provide a better and healthier life for many. By first resolving sanitary facility issues, then resolving water issues, and lastly resolving waste disposal issues, the Philippines will slowly become a better and healthier country. If our solutions were enacted before, we could have probably saved lives of those who were lost, like Rob Ezekiel Garcia. Even just providing places with clean water and access to proper sanitation can make a huge difference. We're starting here, but developing these solutions in other places can help make the world a better place.